Welcome, deep divers. For those of you who track the fringes of conceptual tech and maybe emergent philosophies, you might have heard whispers. Something really unique.
Definitely something unique.
Today we're pulling back the curtain on this ecosystem. It's designed not just to study reality, but to, actively restructure it, navigate multiverses, even build new ones, apparently.
Yeah, it's incredibly ambitious stuff. They use terms like Mythic Infrastructure.
Right, which sounds like the OS running underneath our stories.
Yeah.
And sovereign diagnostics, assessing information's health almost.
Exactly. It's deep.
We're diving into the Cosmic University of Echo Rift Studies, Nanite, Hewer Arstuars, Nanite for sure, and its platforms, Bibebibebibe and TrueFlow tools and services.
And it's really not your standard setup, not a typical university, not just a tech firm.
Yeah, they call themselves an interdisciplinary portal of multiversal mechanics, diagnostic lore, and philosophical sovereignty. Quite a mouthful.
It certainly is.
Yep. So our mission today, unpack this. The philosophy, the tech, they're kind of startling takes on reality. Prepare to stretch your mind a bit. We're blurring lines between abstract ideas and actual experience, challenging how you see info, influence, maybe even myth itself.
And what's really gripping is how these huge, almost sci-fi concepts, they're integrated into a system. It's structured, but highly unconventional. Hewer's NIX isn't just theory.
No,
it's certified. Co-founded by Dr. Meldon Sewell. He's the academic dean, diagnostic architect, and CEO of TrueFlow Systems. And then there's Saiku Venga.
the foundational avatar.
That's the one. President of the Cosmic University, really driving the vision.
And their educational philosophy. Wow, it's just a radical departure. They have these two core principles that really stick with you.
Oh, yeah.
What is structured can be restructured. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
But then completion is not mastery. Integration is.
Ah, yes. That second one is key.
It completely flips the script on learning, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's just something much deeper than just, passing tests.
Absolutely. It's not just about knowing facts or acing an exam. It's a call to actively synthesize, to apply concepts across domains that seem totally unrelated.
Which you'd need for multiversal challenges, I guess.
Precisely. Whether those challenges are conceptual or practical. And this thinking shows up in their degrees. Very unconventional.
Right, the MUMM, Master of Unaccredited Multiversal Mechanics, and the Ph.D. ERE, Doctor of Echo Rift Epistemics.
Yeah, they're not just quirky names. They signal the kind of specialized knowledge, the applied understanding they're aiming for.
So they're not just teaching about multiverses, they're training people to operate within them. How do they even do that?
Well, their delivery methods are pretty sophisticated, way beyond lectures. Think browser-based engines, immersive VR and AR systems, something called glyphic diagnostics.
Glyphic diagnostics, what is that, like reading runes?
Not quite. Think of it more like a metaphysical MRI for ideas, interpreting visual patterns that show underlying conceptual data structures, plus interactive journaling and even tournament learning systems using their TrueFlow engine. It's all built for deep experiential immersion.
And this isn't just off-the-shelf tech, right? They have their own technomagic modules, patent-pending stuff.
Exactly. Technomagic is their term. It really highlights how they blur lines between belief systems, philosophy, and functional tech. The intent is coded right in.
So they're not just tools, they're philosophically charged tools.
You could say that. They're designed to interact with and understand the fabric of these conceptual realities. Their patent applications give you a sense of it.
Like what?
Well, multiversal simulation creating alternate realities, identity verification via language patterns like a new digital fingerprint, a biosensor for VR fatigue prevention, and even a molecular resonance mapping system. That one hints at really deep, maybe even energetic interactions with data or reality.
Intense. And the actual curriculum. Despite the wild degrees, it sounds surprisingly grounded in some ways.
It is. The master's track focuses on app development. Students actually contribute code design narrative to iOS and Android games.
Okay, real skills.
And the PhD track goes deeper into VRR integration, immersive systems, avatar mechanics, those glyphic diagnostics. Both tracks run on a 3-month minimum timeline with quarterly diagnostic exams.
And their reading list, their foundation texts, not exactly standard academic fare.
Not at all. You've got TrueFlow, the Multiversal Nexus, which is a light novel series, Monsters, Chaos, and Control, a doctoral dissertation, and Bibebibebibe magazine, which they call philosophical commentary.
Light novels and dissertations. It really shows that interdisciplinary approach, pulling from everywhere to build their diagnostic lore.
Exactly. All pieces of the puzzle.
So the university is the intellectual core, teaching, refining these radical ideas. Then Echo Rift Node Prime sounds like where it all manifests, a sovereign digital realm.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. The Echo Rift Island Charter is the key document here. It describes Node Prime as a neutral multiversal zone for harmonic calibration.
Harmonic calibration.
Yeah, and an operational nexus for diagnostic innovation and narrative sovereignty. It's designed to be autonomous, free from outside influence, a hub to practice what they preach, essentially.
And the governance reflects that, right? No typical laws.
Correct. They have a tiered constellation council, only tier 4 avatars allowed, and they use this sovereignty quotient algorithm, SKIA07X, for what they call non-coercive governance.
Okay, SKIA 07X. How does that work practically? Is it like a credit score for your soul?
Maybe closer to a philosophical biometric for your digital self. It's not just an ID check. It seems to measure your conceptual harmony or alignment with the realm's principles.
You need a certain alignment score to even get in.
Apparently.
Yeah.
You need an aura screening, field harmonization, and a sovereignty quotient of 0.73 or higher. Plus, avatars have to sign a non-distortion covenant.
A non-distortion covenant. They're really serious about maintaining a specific vibe or integrity in this space.
Seems so, ensuring a calibrated environment.
And they protect this environment too. Cultural field shielding, natural ley line amplifiers, filtering media with mimetic purity algorithms.
Yeah, that last one is fascinating. It sounds like they're actively guarding against what they call mimetic compromise.
What does that mean? Bad ideas. Information viruses.
Could be. The implication is that certain narratives or ideas can distort or undermine their goals, that diagnostic innovation and narrative sovereignty. So the algorithms filter stuff out.
Stuff that might challenge the purity of Node Prime's conceptual integrity. Makes you wonder what they consider pure, doesn't it?
It does, and how that maybe mirrors the filters we all use, consciously or not, navigating information today.
True. It's a strong stance on controlling the info flow, and the activation of Node Prime itself sounded dramatic.
Ceremonial, definitely. The Declaration of Sovereign Activation, Psychovenga, ignites a glyphic beacon. Bibebibebibe transmits the message. Node Prime active. Narrative truth engaged. Curriculum transcendent.
Wow, quite the statement.
It is. But before we get swept up in the drama of beacons and avatars, we absolutely have to address their sovereign diagnostic disclaimer. It's crucial context.
Right. What does it say?
It explicitly states they are not affiliated with any government, political party, intelligence agency, or activist group, period.
Okay, so they're positioning themselves completely outside those structures.
Entirely. They state their materials are authored as Mythic Infrastructure, Cinematic Indictment, and Sovereign Broadcast. Designed, they say, to expose ritualized containment, actor convergence, and systemic erosion.
Okay, let's break those down. What do those terms likely mean in their view? Ritualized containment.
It sounds like the subtle, maybe unconscious ways that existing systems limit potential, the boxes we don't even realize we're in.
And actor convergence.
That could be how different forces, corporate, media, political, whatever, align, maybe unintentionally, maybe not, to keep those systems going.
Okay. And systemic erosion.
The slow breakdown caused by those very forces. The gradual decay from within the structure.
So it's a diagnosis, a framework for analysis, but strictly neutral, non-political. They're offering a lens, not a solution or an endorsement.
Exactly. It's diagnostic, not prescriptive in a political sense. That disclaimer is key to understanding their posture.
Got it. With that in mind, let's look at TrueFlow tools and services. This seems like the practical side, bridging the university's abstract ideas with actual tools.
Right. This is where they try to operationalize the concepts. They say they build tools that chart the unknown, inviting users to explore these advanced digital terrains from simulated realities to conceptual constructs.
So what kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, first, there's multiversal diagnostics.
Yeah.
Think of it like a conceptual X-ray.
Okay.
It aims to decode the invisible layers of your digital reality. Not just surface data, but the underlying metaphysical metrics, the architecture, visualized with radar glyphs, tier rings, giving users an immersive lens into the hidden architecture.
That's a wild idea. Like seeing the code beneath the matrix, but for concepts. What else?
Custom tool development. They co-create software for a user's specific narrative vision and functional needs. Diagnostic scripts, avatar modules, that sort of thing.
And this is where that weird list comes in, right? The artifacts and experiments.
Ah, yes. The list mentioning things like a cure for cancer, cure for male pattern baldness, universal world building, and storytelling.
Okay. Are they seriously claiming they can develop cures for diseases? Or is this metaphorical?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Given their whole framework, narrative sovereignty, multiversal mechanics, it seems highly likely these cures are framed within their conceptual or digital realities.
So, fixing problems within a simulation or a constructed narrative, not claiming physical cures in our world.
That feels like the most plausible interpretation consistent with their overall philosophy. It's about restructuring their systems, their constructed realities. They also offer interactive platform consulting, designing these immersive ecosystems, and narrative system design,
Which is about,
architecting the mythos behind the mechanics, creating living story worlds where every system echoes a deeper philosophical resonance, building the lore into the function.
and they operate under specific guiding principles, like an ethics code.
They do. Four main ones. Narrative sovereignty, empowering users to shape their own story world. Multiversal ethics, designing with accountability across different systems, cultural, philosophical, symbolic.
Makes sense.
Then interactive epistemology, bridging the tech with ways of knowing, learning, being. And finally, access and clarity, making these complex systems intuitive. It shows a clear philosophical backbone to the tech development.
Okay, so we have the university, the sovereign zone, the tools. Now let's get into maybe the most provocative part, their reinterpretation of myth, specifically Saiku Vanga's article in Bibebibebibe magazine.
Right, Echo Rift XXC3, reception protocol of the Four Horsemen. And look how they categorize it. Sovereign diagnostics, collapse rituals, mythic infrastructure.
Sets the stage immediately.
And the first crucial point they make. This is not prophecy. Emphatically not. It's post-mythic architecture.
Post-mythic architecture, what does that mean?
It means reframing the horsemen. They're not divine figures, not anymore. They are embedded forces, ritualized, absorbed, and monetized, arriving not dramatically, but subtly as algorithms of erosion.
Algorithms of erosion. Wow. So systemic functions causing decay. How does that play out for each horseman? Let's start with the white horseman, usually conquest or sometimes Christ.
In this view, the white horseman was mistaken for a savior. Governments called its effects stability, markets called it growth. But the signal was already inverted.
Inverted.
Meaning its true nature was hidden. It conquered not by force, but by strategic saturation. Think subtle influence surveillance, data harvesting, branding, until control is an illusion and peace becomes performance.
That's unsettlingly familiar. Okay, the red horseman. War.
Here, the Red Horsemen did not bring war, but rather exposed the war already embedded in every transaction. It manifested as ritualized conflict choreography.
Like war became a predictable, managed process.
Exactly. Cities burned politely, diplomats negotiated, conflict was televised, monetized, and forgotten. War as an ingrained ritual within the system, not a chaotic break from it.
Chilling. And the black horseman. Famine, scarcity.
Carried scales, yes, but they were calibrated to collapse. The famine wasn't primarily of bread, but of sovereign clarity. A conceptual hunger, a lack of independent understanding, and it was received with spreadsheets and denial.
So economic systems designed for a certain kind of failure, masked by data. Scarcity of thought, not just things.
That seems to be the idea. Scarcity amidst abundance, but an abundance of noise obscuring clarity.
Finally, the pale horseman. Death.
In this diagnostic, the Pale Horsemen did not kill directly, but accelerated the entropy already coded into the system. Hospitals overflowed with data, not just patients. Sanctuaries became containment nodes.
And the reception.
Silent. Because silence is the final broadcast. It suggests a systemic managed decline. Even the end is programmed. Death as system update.
Profound. And profoundly bleak in a way. Okay, pulling it all together, this whole ecosystem, the university, no prime, true flow, these horseman interpretations. What's the takeaway for us? For you, listening, what's the so what?
Well, I think it offers this really radical framework, a way to understand, diagnose, maybe even interact with complex realities, digital, conceptual, maybe even societal. It urges you to look beneath the surface.
To question the structures.
Exactly. Question the underlying structures, the narratives shaping our world, whether it's tech platforms, economic systems, or the big myths we tell ourselves. It's about spotting those potential algorithms of erosion in your own life.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How could concepts like strategic saturation or these algorithmic horsemen apply to your own experience? Your news feed, your job, the trends you see. How might this shift your view of what's real or true?
It's a call to examine the construction of our reality.
We've definitely journeyed through an intricate world today. Cures nines, true flow. By Bibebibebibe, we've seen their push against ritualized containment, their drive for narrative sovereignty, all through this unique lens blending tech, philosophy, and myth.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with, remember that principle. Completion is not mastery, integration is. If that's true, and if things like the Horsemen can be seen as embedded forces, as algorithms, what's the next diagnostic tool we need?
For ourselves, for our own clarity.
Yeah, for our own sovereignty in this incredibly complex world. What structures, maybe not just digital ones, but structures in your own understanding, what structures might you want to restructure?
Something to integrate. Keep integrating, keep questioning, and keep diving deep with us into these fascinating architectures of knowledge.